Ilia Topuria is going to brutally finish Charles Oliveira in the UFC 317 main event, but before we get into that, I'm going to be going over my picks for the entire card, so let's start with the undercard. Starting with the first fight of the card, Christopher Ewart versus Jackson McVeigh. As we know, Christopher Ewart is taking this off short notice because Cedric's dumbass couldn't get his ankle monitor off in time. Like, genuinely, what a loser. But I already picked Jackson McVeigh to beat Cedricus Dumas. I think the exact same thing is going to happen with Christopher Ewart. I think that the short notice also plays a factor, so I have Jackson McVeigh by decision. Moving on, we got Janata Denise versus Alvin Hines. Janata Denise doesn't have that many great wins. He did knock out Austin Lane pretty brutally, but to be fair, who hasn't knocked out Austin Lane? Despite that, I still think Alvin Hines is going to lose his 0, so I'm picking Denise by decision. Next up, we have Nico Price versus Jacoby Smith. This one's a no-brainer. I think if you pick Nico Price, there could genuinely be something mentally wrong with you. I would heavily consider getting that checked out. I have Jacoby Smith by second round TKO. I see him dropping Nico Price with a left hook and finishing it with ground and pound. So, there you go, moving on. Next fight, Vyacheslav Borshev versus Terrence McKinney. I'm actually picking Borshev as the underdog pick here. I like him because I think he has good power, and I'm definitely noticing a pattern with Terrence McKinney. He loves getting knocked out. It's probably his favorite thing in the world. I know Borshev is coming off of a loss, but I actually see him getting a second round flatline KO over Terrence McKinney. Next fight, I'm picking Tracy Cortez. Moving on. Next fight, I think is going to be an all-out war. Hyder Emil versus Jose Delgado. I think this is going to be a fantastic fight. I think it's going to be a brawl. I think this fight's going to be incredibly close. I don't think Hyder Emil is going to lose his 0. I think he's going to stay undefeated, and I do have him winning by split decision because I just think the fight's going to be that close. I could see a lot of knockdowns happening. I think this is going to be a great fight, and if it's not, I'm going to be upset. Moving on. Next up, we have Jack Hermanson versus Gregory Rodriguez. I think this is also going to be a really good fight. Again, could possibly be a war, but I think Gregory Rodriguez, it just comes down to him being sharper, quicker, cleaner, and I think he's going to get it done by unanimous decision. Okay, so that's going to end off the undercard. Moving to the main card, the first fight, Felipe Lima versus Payton Talbot. Unfortunately, as much as I don't want to say this, I don't really see a lot of scenarios where Payton Talbot wins. I just think he's going to lose. I don't see him winning. Not only do I not see him winning, but I think he's probably going to get dominated for 3 rounds straight. Now, granted, he could win because it's Pride Month. This could be a new mythical fighter, Pride Month Talbot. As we know, last June, he finished Giannis Gamori in, I think, 19 seconds. But I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. But that's my pick. I picked Felipe Lima by a very dominant decision. Next fight is Beneil Dariush versus Hanato Moicano. I didn't quite know who to pick in this one. I was actually kind of torn on it for a while, but when it comes down to it, I think I'm going to pick Hanato Moicano, partially because I think he's a more efficient striker, and also partially because Beneil Dariush hasn't fought since 2023. I see Hanato Moicano winning by a unanimous decision. I don't hate the idea of him winning by a KO or a TKO, but I think it's most likely just going to be a unanimous decision. Moving on, Joshua Van versus Brandon Royval. This is another one that I was kind of split on when it comes to making a decision on who's going to win. I don't hate Van, but also I don't think he's going to win. I don't buy the hype train of Joshua Van. I think he's a great fighter. I don't think he'll ever be a top contender. I think Brandon Royval is going to win by decision. I don't hate Brandon Royval by submission. I think that could be very possible, but I'm going to pick Brandon Royval by decision. Next fight, the co-main event, KKF Kai Kara-France versus Alessandre Pantosia. It's kind of hard to not pick Pantosia with the absolute tear he's been on at flyweight. Even completely disregarding their first fight where Pantosia won by decision, I just think that Pantosia's more well-rounded. I think he'll do better, but I do think KKF could give him some problems in the striking, maybe enough to win a round or two, but I think Pantosia's going to win by unanimous decision, probably pretty dominantly too. Next, the main event, the moment you've all been waiting for, Charles Oliveira versus Ilia Topuria. I think Ilia Topuria will brutally flatline KO Charles Oliveira in the second round. I think people are making this fight way too close. I think it's not going to be close at all. I think it's actually going to be a cakewalk for Topuria. Topuria is known for his ridiculous power, and Charles Oliveira is not at all known for having a good chin. In fact, he's known for having a pretty bad one. He's been dropped, I think, 9 times in his UFC career, which is just ridiculous. And Ilia Topuria was dropped once with a flush head kick from Jai Herbert. And even if we go away from the striking and move to the grappling, people are acting like Charles Oliveira has Ilia Topuria 10 times unmatched in the jiu-jitsu and wrestling realm, when in reality, Ilia Topuria is a jiu-jitsu practitioner. Before he was a striker, he was a jiu-jitsu practitioner, and I don't know why more people don't know that. And this is just a little something extra, right? I love Charles Oliveira, right? I think he's very entertaining, but his fan base pisses me off. I know no matter the result of this fight, I'm going to get 1,000 edits on my TikTok For You page, which is just going to piss me off. If he wins, I'm going to see so many edits of him winning going, "The champion has a name." But if he loses, I'm going to see a bunch of corny-ass, sad Charles Oliveira edits that I don't want to see, and it's just going to be a whole thing. But that's my prediction. Ilia Topuria by a brutal second-round flatline KO. He's going to be the next 2-division champ, not double champ, 2-division champ. They're different things. It pisses me off when people say John Jones is a double champ. He's not. Those are different things. 2-division and double champ are different things. But anyways, let me know if you agree or disagree with any of my picks down in the comments below. Thank you for watching this video. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.